Welcome to Pineapple Knits, a knitting and spinning videocast. I'm Marina, and you can find me everywhere on the web at Pineapple Yarn, especially Instagram where I'm most active. And you can visit my hand-dyed yarn, fiber, and candle company at pineappleyarn.com. Thanks so much for joining me this week, and if this is your first time joining me, welcome. This is a podcast mostly about knitting and spinning and sometimes some random other things that I throw in there. I'm coming to you today from coastal South Carolina, where we're having seasonably stormy weather, I guess. On Monday, we kind of had a near miss of a tornado, which was a little wild. Other than that, though, I mean, today's rainy, but just a little stormy, nothing crazy. But other than that, we've had beautiful spring weather. Every day, I think, you know, spring sometimes like hit or miss. Sometimes it gets cold and then really, really warm, like straight into summer. But we've just had the most beautiful spring. I could not be more thankful for it, especially with everything that's going on in the world. Like, I couldn't be more thankful for good weather. Yeah, so today I'm drinking some tea, and this is really an uncharacteristic tea for me. This is the afternoon, and for a while now I've been having a cup of coffee in the morning and then a cup of coffee in the afternoon. Not that I really want to. I usually try to stick with just one cup of coffee in the morning and then kind of cut myself off, but I've needed a cup of coffee in the afternoon, and just recently I've been having a little trouble sleeping, which is that is very uncharacteristic of me. Usually I am such a great sleeper. Like, I have no problem sleeping, but I think just the stress of, you know, world events, and you all know. I think it's just weighing on me a little bit, like more than I realized, and I've had some trouble sleeping. So I had totally forgot that I purchased this tea from Teami, and it's called Relax. So the next night I drank a cup of it before I went to bed, and I slept great. And I really do think it was because of the tea. And so what I've been doing actually in the afternoon is I've been having a cup of the Relax tea from Teami. And I know I've talked about Teami before. It's a brand that I really like because they have great tea, and then they also have some really great, like, natural lifestyle type products as well. But the Relax tea is, it's not a strong tea. It's just really fragrant, like peppermint, and I think it has like some citrus in it too. I'm trying to think. I don't have the ingredients in front of me. I think it might have some lavender. I do know it has valerian root, so if you're thinking of getting it, just know that that's in there. But I have been drinking this in the afternoon. I feel so relaxed. I don't feel tired. I just feel super relaxed, and yeah, I have not been drinking coffee in the afternoon at all. And so anyway, I wanted to share this with you guys in case you're interested. I will also, I'll leave you a coupon code, and I'll leave the link below in case you want to purchase it for yourself. And I'm also using this super cute tea infuser, and I'll see if I can get up close. It's the cutest, like, periwinkle color. It has a tea ball on the end, and it's made out of silicone, so it's just kind of flexible. I love this. It comes with a little stand too that you can put on it, and it just looks like a little flower. Anyway, for me, this is the most convenient way to drink tea, and so I've just been kind of sticking with that. And of course, you know that I've been talking about this mug. This is my favorite mug, and so yeah, that is my drink of choice lately. I also want to mention that I'm sorry that I missed podcasting last week. I actually did record a podcast, and I just wasn't really happy with the way it turned out. I felt like it was probably about the same time that I wasn't sleeping. And I just felt like I just wasn't feeling it. And I think I just kept putting off editing it. And then by the time I totally forgot Easter rolled around, and it was, I just figured I'd give up on it, and I do a podcast today. And by the way, happy Easter from this past weekend. I hope you had a good time, even if it wasn't with your family or friends. If you celebrated alone, that's what we did, and it was actually really nice. But anyway, I wanted to show you my knitting. I have a finished object. This is the Mountain Mist sweater from Tin Tan Knits, and I knit this in a pineapple yarn colorway called Midnight Garden. This was for my 9-year-old daughter. I knit the women's extra small because the positive ease is maybe like an inch, I would say. There's not a lot of room in it. And the largest child size was an 8 to 10. So I want to make sure that this fit her for the fall as well. She has been wearing this a ton. And so I'm so excited that she loves it, and I made it for her early enough in the spring that she can use it. But I'm going to give you a close-up. I had mentioned to you about all the decreases. So this right here was a line of decreases I was a bit concerned with. This should have color work, and I didn't. I'll tell you why I used the pattern in a minute. But so this should have color work here. This was a line of increases. It blocked out fairly well. It's not perfect, and actually I haven't even blocked the whole sweater. That was just a quick steam block to see how it would block out, and I think it looks fine. So that's that. And I made the women's extra small almost exactly to the pattern. I sized down a needle size like I always do, so I used a US 5 and 7. This is a worsted weight pattern. I have been loving worsted weight sweaters. I know I've talked about that, so that's why I used the Mountain Mist sweater pattern, even though it was a colorwork pattern. It was something I already owned, and so I just went for it. My daughter wanted a very plain sweater, so she got it. The only thing I did differently is I went down on the cuff length, and also the ribbing on the neck and the hem. And I just sized it down because she is not as tall as an adult, and so it's just more proportional to her height. And yeah, I really love how it turned out. It's super cute. And I think I mentioned, maybe I mentioned this in the podcast that I didn't publish. I tried this on, and I thought that it was a bit snug for me. I would believe it when they said that there was only an inch or so positive ease. I'm not positive on that, but I like my sweaters a little roomier. That's just the way I like it. So if I was going to knit this pattern for myself, I do think I would probably size up, but this was such a fun pattern, and I literally had to ask her to take this off so I could podcast today. And so yeah, it was a really fun pattern, and it was a great project, and I really, really enjoyed it in the worsted weight yarn. So true to form, I did start a new pattern. I decided to knit the Sunshine Coast sweater again for myself because I really love that sweater, and I decided to go with my colorway Saturn. And this was kind of an experiment for me. It's kind of an ongoing experiment because this is a new base that I've never dyed on, and so I wasn't exactly sure how it would take the dye, and then I've never knit with it either, so it'll be really interesting to see how it goes. So first, the dye. I decided the Saturn colorway, I would go with it because it's kind of a pale to medium neon yellow. This base is a 50% merino, 50% cotton blend. And if you are familiar with acid dyes, those are the dyes that I use to dye all of my yarn. it dyes animal fibers. It does not dye cotton or other plant fibers. And so the theory on this type of yarn is that you would get more of a heathered look because the cotton would not take the acid dye. That was my theory. And so I wanted to play around with a neon and see if I could actually get this neon. And obviously I succeeded. This is so beautiful. So my next step on this was to knit a swatch. And I used a US size 6, which I believe is what I used for the pattern in the last go, but I'm not sure. Here's my swatch. I don't swatch a lot, but it was necessary this time. And I got the perfect gauge with a US 6. So I think the pattern Sunshine Coast requires, with the yarn that they use, they required a 5. I knit very loosely, so if I was I guess a typical knitter, I would probably go up to a 7 to get gauge on this yarn. But I'm gonna see if I can get close. So here's what the gauge swatch looks like up close. I know that this is getting blown out, but I thought the texture was really nice. The fabric, if you can see the fabric, is just drapey. It's not too drapey though. I feel like it is, oh gosh, it is so soft. I really, really loved the fabric this made. And I do have to tell you a funny story. So when I'd made up this gauge swatch, I knit at night. Usually my husband and I are watching television together. And when I finished this, I threw it to him, and I threw it to him down the couch. I said, hey, what do you think about this? And he has asked me to knit him a very particular sweater for years and years. He wears one type of sweater. It's a particular brand. It is a particular style. He doesn't veer very far from what he wears anyway. And I said, no, I'm not going to knit you a cotton sweater. I've said this for a long time. And he's always felt like a fingering weight. He wanted like a cotton fingering weight type sweater. Absolutely not. I'm not going to do that. And so when he felt this swatch, he was like, this is exactly what I want. This is exactly the type of feel I want. The sweater that you make me. This is exactly what I want it to feel like. And so I was really surprised that he said that, because it does have, he's not wool averse. He's just very particular about this one cotton sweater, this one style of cotton sweater that he wears. And this just has such a beautiful hand. It feels so soft, and it does feel like cotton, but it just has that nice, just has that bit of elasticity that wool gives. Anyway, I might be making another sweater out of this, so I guess the Sunshine Coast may be just an experiment of sorts for a man's sweater down the line. But yeah, I was really happy with this gauge swatch, and I'm not very far. I actually had to take out the neck because I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but I use Knit Companion for all of my knitting. I rarely actually print out a pattern just because I've been using Knit Companion for a while. And some patterns just aren't compatible with it, especially if you're on a phone. I think if you're on like an iPad or a larger screen, a computer, it would be fine. So I think I am going to have to print this pattern out. But the back is all shaped. So this is the back of it right there. And this is the neck. It's a top-down sweater. Not a lot to write home about at this point. So hopefully I will have made some progress when I see you again next week. And I'm sure I will. So far, knitting this has been wonderful. And the last yarn I used for my last Sunshine Coast sweater was called Bamboo Pop. I think it was by Universal Yarns, maybe. But it was called Bamboo Pop. The reason I chose it is because it had bamboo in it, and so it's not just like a 100% cotton, which doesn't have a lot of elasticity in it. And that was a great yarn. I mean, it was kind of splitty, and I definitely had issues. If you've seen some of my older podcasts, you'll remember that. But it's a dream to wear. I mean, the fabric that it makes is so wonderful. So hopefully this one will work the same, and I will keep you updated on that. And if you're interested in purchasing a sweater quantity of this, I will add it as an option on my sweater quantity listing. I've listed that down below. Just because I want to make this available. It's just, I haven't seen a lot of bases, definitely not indie dyed yarn that includes cotton at all, but I haven't seen, just in general, a lot of 50-50 wool cotton blends. I should say merino cotton blends, and so I want to make that available to you guys if you're interested. It's a really wonderful base, especially for transitional seasons or even summer, like in air conditioning, like air-conditioned buildings. It would be really great. So that is it for my knitting. That's all I've been doing. I did want to share with you a finished spin. I may have shown this to you, and I do not remember, but I knit this out of Rolags that I put together on my blending board. Feel free to skip ahead if you've already seen this, because I don't remember. I used several different fibers from the monthly club from Paradise Fibers, and then also this, let's see, like this neon coral color, peachy color, I dyed up and then blended it up, or added it to the blend. I did this as a supported, I did it as a true long draw and then also as a supported long draw. I mean, it turned out okay. I did add some purple stellina as well. It turned out okay. I'm not 100% thrilled with it. There's a lot of thick and thin places. Long draw is really challenging for me for some reason. I think that's just the nature of it. So the spin that I'm doing right now, I made some Rolags on St. Patrick's Day. They're all green. They're all different shades of green. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing a long draw, sometimes supported just because I'm not really good at long draw right now. I'm not even like half good. It's really, really challenging for me. So yeah, that's what I've been working on. I just love this barber pulling. I think it's so pretty. I really enjoy it a lot. So that was it, and I just wanted to share it with you in case I hadn't shared before. But other than that, I haven't made a lot of progress on my St. Patrick's Day spin, so I really need to work on that this week. Yeah, that is really all I've been working on this week. I have been doing some things that aren't knitting and fiber related. I actually, I have been sewing masks for my local hospital, and this is kind of a different situation than I've seen other people sewing masks for their hospitals. So my local hospital put out a call asking people to replace the elastic in some P95 masks that they had. I think they were like new old stock. They'd been in a warehouse. They were still perfectly good, but over the years, the elastic had lost its elasticity, and they were looking for volunteers to cut elastic and basically replace the elastic straps in these P95 respirators. And so that's what I've been doing this week. I'm almost done. And yeah, it's just been nice to, first of all, do something to help. And I guess they're the medical grade respirators that people need on the front lines, you know? So it's just really, I'm really glad that I can contribute to my community and help out in that way. But yeah, so that's what I've been working on this week and finishing those up. And it's been really nice getting on my sewing machine again. And so the other thing, this is kind of an aside, and I don't even have anything to show you, but I'm pretty sure this next week, I guess I'll just move into shop news because that's what I'm doing. So this next week, I am going to, I think I'm going to make some masks and put them in my shop. Now these won't be like the medical grade P95 respirators. They will just be cotton face masks that are becoming more and more common, and also in some places becoming required if you go out in public. I have heard from so many people, just friends in different states, that they can't buy them. They don't know how to sew or don't want to. And it's getting really frustrating and also a little worrisome that they don't have masks. I've had a couple of different friends in different states who have actually been refused entry into stores because they don't have masks, and it's not, state. It hasn't been an executive order in the state or anything. It's just the stores don't want them in there if they don't have a mask. And so I'm going to probably sew a batch of those and list them in the shop in case you're interested or you know someone who needs a mask. I just want to make sure that they're available to you, but this is just a very preliminary announcement that I will have them in the shop. But they will be typical fabric that you would expect from me, high quality cotton, quilting cotton fabric, but in super bright, punchy colors because that's what I like to sew with. So, and those are the masks that I would wear as well. So, yeah, just so you know what they'll look like. I will be offering a free shipping code for the masks only. So if you only want to purchase masks, I'm not going to put a shipping cost on those, just as a service to you and just just something that I can do to help out. And so I will leave a free shipping code right here. I'll also leave it below. It'll also be in the listing in the shop because I just want to make sure that everyone can use it if they can. Now, if you do decide to buy yarn or candles, the regular shipping rates will apply to those. But in case you're just interested in the masks, those will ship for free if you use the code. And I will probably make some for my family as well, just in case we need them. Here in South Carolina, the cases really aren't nearly as bad as a lot of different places. So I guess whatever we're doing is working. Plus our population is so much lower than other places, so that obviously helps as well. But anyway, I will have masks available in the shop starting next week. I just wanted to give you a heads up. Then also, I believe next week I will be having a candle update in the shop just to give myself enough time to photograph all the candles. I looked in the shop and I had no candles left. They have all been sold out. So thank you so much if you've purchased them. I am restocking all the scents of the candles. They're all poured and ready to go. They just need to be photographed and listed. And so that's exciting. I do have a few new scents too. They're so exciting. And I guess next week I'll do a shop update video and just kind of highlight all the new things that I have in the shop. And so I'm going to get those in the shop. Today I have all of your Odyssey shawl kits dyed up, rinsed, dried, and they just need to be wound up and shipped. I'm so excited about that. And so in the next few days, look for a shipping notification because they will be on their way to you. And thank you so much to all of you who purchased them. I really hope they bring you a lot of joy knitting with them. If you're knitting the Odyssey shawl by Joji Locatelli, it's such a fun pattern. And I hope that brings you a lot of joy and enjoyment in your crafting. I do have a few kits left. I dyed up a few extras and those are in the shop right now. So if you're interested in taking a peek at those, I have put a link down below. As far as my plans this coming week, I don't really know. I've been gardening a ton with some of the crazy storms that we've been having. I haven't gotten a lot to do, but I'm so happy for the rain, so I am not complaining about that. All of my beans popped up. I planted just kind of on a whim, maybe a week ago, I planted some bush beans. Well, backing up before that, I gotta back up before that. We had a couple of dead trees in an area that they were dead. One of them had been struck by lightning twice last year. And so we knew that if we didn't get it taken care of, it could definitely blow over and cause a lot of damage in one of these storms, like the storm we had on Monday. Definitely could happen. And so we had them removed, and it kind of opened up a lot of space for me to plant things here and there. There's still tree stumps, but there's nothing growing around these big trees. And so, yeah, so I just planted, I planted bush beans about a week ago, bush beans, some lettuce, kohlrabi, and I'm trying to think what else, collards, and Swiss chard. That was the other thing I planted. And I'm so excited to say that they've all sprouted and they are growing. I'm so excited. And so they are on their way to a delicious meal for me. I really love greens, and so I cannot wait for some fresh greens out of my garden. So the last things that I have to grow, I still have my southern peas that I have not put out yet. I'm not really worried about it, but I am running out of time at this point. And so, yeah, those need to go in the ground somewhere. I need to find a spot for those. And I think that might be it. I do have some flower seeds I was going to plant. And again, I need to just throw them somewhere and do it. For those of you who might be new, this is I think I've lived in this house, I think we've been in the house maybe a year at this point, maybe not quite a year. And so I just don't really know exactly where's going to be the best places to grow certain things. I mean, I can take a good guess, but every year I'll learn more and more about where's a good place for this and that. Everything else in the garden's doing really great though. I'm trying to think, the squash, so I have a yellow scallop squash and cucumbers as well that both have blossoms on them right now, which is so exciting and crazy. Like, I never would have expected they had blossoms this early. And then also I have several melons that have blossoms as well. So yeah, that's really exciting. And I guess I kind of feel like, oh, this is so great. Like, you know, they're doing really well, but I think I have a feeling I'm just moving into the hard part of this, where now I have to keep an eye out for pests. And that's going to be a challenge, but I'm sure if I just keep a handle on it, I'll be able to keep those pests off. Fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's it. Before I leave you, I did want to talk about two more things. Firstly, what I'm wearing. I totally forgot at the beginning of the episode. This is the Banana Leaf Shawl by Yuki Ueda, and I knit this out of my Pineapple Yarn 2019 Advent Calendar. It was a fade. It's on Ravelry, so you can see the entire shawl laid out. But it was just so much fun dyeing this, planning this. Loved the banana leaf shawl with this, and yeah, you can kind of see I actually looped this around twice, and this is what it looks like. It's a massive shawl. It turned out so big, and it was just such a blast. I loved it. Yeah, I will also be having advent calendars in the shop soon. Just wanted to throw that in there as well. And the second thing I wanted to talk to you about before I left, what was it? Oh, I have a giveaway. I just realized that I passed the 4-year mark for Pineapple Yarn. And so 4 years ago, when I was living in Hawaii, I started Pineapple Yarn as just a way basically to dye the yarn that I loved. I loved bold, bright, neon speckled yarns, and yeah, so I just decided to dye them for myself. And I was already dyeing yarn for myself when I couldn't find a color that I liked, and so I just decided to start selling them, and here we are today, 4 years later, so it's really exciting. And so let me show you what I'm going to give away. I love giving away things that I really love, and hopefully you will too. So the first thing that I have here, and this is not sponsored by Teami, this is just things that I have and I'd love to pass on to you as well. But this is a bag of tea. This is Teami Refresh. It's so beautiful. It has all these beautiful flower petals in it. It's a very simple tea. I think it has 4 ingredients: dried mango, dried strawberry, mint tea, and pink rose. It is a wonderful, wonderful spring and summer tea. I love it iced. It's so good. So a bag of Teami Refresh tea, and then also in the giveaway box is this tumbler. Let me get it out. But this is a super cute Teami tumbler, and I have used mine on the podcast before. Well, I'll just slide this down so you can see. It's a cute yellow tumbler, and these tumblers are so great because they have a tea strainer in the top, and so you can just make your tea and drink it, and it's automatically strained out. And then it also has a little container down below if you want to put vitamins in there or protein powder or whatever you would like to keep with you. It also has a cute handle. So this is a 20-ounce cute tumbler that I am also going to include. And then the last thing I'm going to include, it wouldn't be complete without yarn, right? So I'm going to include 1 skein of any of my hand-dyed yarn from my shop. I will let you choose because I thought it would be more fun that way. So anything that's in stock in my shop right now, you can choose from. So what I'm going to have you do, I'm going to have this just as a YouTube giveaway because I think it's going to be easier that way. So what I'm going to have you do is just leave a comment below. Please don't use the word giveaway because I think it is flagged by the YouTube algorithm and it can get shut down. So don't use the word giveaway. Just leave a comment, maybe what you'd like to see in the shop, maybe something you're looking forward to this spring, or maybe a project that you're working on right now that you're really having fun with. Anything, it's fine. I will announce a winner on next week's podcast and contact you. And I really appreciate all of the support you've given me over the past 4 years. It has been very fun and very fun to connect with all of you and do something that I love to do, and I think that you also love it as well. So thank you so much for being there every step of the way, and hopefully we'll have many more years together and just knitting and enjoying a really fun hobby. So yeah, I hope you all are doing well during this time. I know we're in it for the long haul at this point. I hope you're doing well. I hope you have some stress relievers in your life that you are enjoying. I hope you are finding those little moments in your day that make you happy. And until next time, I hope you have an awesome day. Bye.